cheating at work? Oh, please. It's practically an unwritten requirement these days. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that the office is less about actual work and more about looking busy. And don't even start with work smarter, not harder. Smarter? Sure. If by smart you mean getting away with doing as little as possible. It all started at my first job. Fresh out of college, bright-eyed, and determined to be the next corporate superstar. Then, day one hit, and I realized 8 hours in an office? Every day? Doing this? I thought, nah, there's gotta be a better way. And there was. Enter the bathroom break hustle. It's genius. Whenever the boss wandered over to my desk looking like he had a very important task with my name on it, I'd suddenly remember that I had 3 cups of coffee that morning. Quick exit. I'd hide out for a few minutes, scrolling on my phone, maybe pretending to read that same motivational poster in the hallway I'd passed every day since I started. By the time I returned, the task had magically disappeared because, of course, it was someone else's problem now. The best part? No one dared to question a bathroom emergency. Look, you don't even have to do work to survive in an office. You just have to look like you're in pain. So I became a master of the Alt-Tab technique. I'd have a nice empty Excel sheet open in one tab and a YouTube cooking tutorial on the other. Boss swings by, Alt-Tab to the spreadsheet and make a face like you're deciphering the Rosetta Stone. If they ask what you're working on, just shake your head and say, these numbers, they just don't add up. They'll walk away thinking you're dealing with corporate secrets when, in reality, you're learning how to make lasagna. Oh, and don't even get me started on meetings. Meetings are where people go to hide from actual work. The trick here, you don't need to contribute. You just need to appear engaged. So I'd bring a notebook, not to take notes, mind you, but to doodle random shapes and scribble synergy, like I'm solving the meaning of life. If someone calls on me, I'd nod seriously and say, I think we should definitely revisit this after we gather more data. More data? It's meaningless, and I had no idea what I was talking about. But neither did they. But it sounds impressive. My next breakthrough came with emails. Oh, emails are a treasure trove for avoiding real work, if you know what you're doing. Anytime someone would email me with a project, I'd hit them with, let me look into it and get back to you. Code for, I'll keep this buried in my inbox until you forget you ever asked. If they followed up, easy. I'd tell them, I'm waiting on numbers from finance. Finance has no clue, but who's gonna check? Besides, I'd be circling back and looping them in until the end of time. Half the people would lose track of what they'd even asked for, and the other half would assume I was just handling it behind the scenes. Magic! Then came the work from home era, a true gift from the corporate gods. Suddenly, I didn't have to keep up the act in person. All I needed was a Zoom-ready shirt, a decent background, and some quality Wi-Fi issues on standby. For video calls, I'd lean into my camera, coffee in hand, nodding like I was about to save the company millions. But the real art? Keeping Netflix running on the side while pretending to be analyzing data. If anyone pinged me with an urgent task, I'd take a few minutes to reply. Why? To give the illusion that I was deep in another project, obviously, and if the conversation got too intense, screen freeze, baby. I'd pause mid-sentence and then lose connection for a few minutes. Worked every time. I'd come back with a helpless shrug. Sorry, my Wi-Fi's been crazy today. But the real peak of my work cheating career? The strategic workload shuffle. By this point, I'd figured out that all I really had to do was convince people I was busy. One day, my manager swung by with this monster project and said, think you could have this done by Friday? No, I didn't even know where to start with that thing. So I put on my best stressed face, gave a big sigh, and said, I'm really swamped right now. I've got 3 things on my plate and barely enough time. Next thing I knew, he was offering to take it off my hands and have someone else help. I mustered the most reluctant nod I could. I mean, if you think that's best, I just hate letting the team down. And just like that, I was free. By the time I left the job, people were convinced I was the busiest person in the office. They called me a team player, said I had grit. Meanwhile, I was just an expert at looking stressed without actually lifting a finger. So here's what I learned. Nobody really cares about how you do the work, only that it looks like you're doing it. And if anyone asks, tell them I didn't give you these tips. Now, go forth, perfect that Wi-Fi issues face, and remember to look busy. And hey, while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe. You'll need these skills if you want to make it out there.